Dallas Cowboys Game Night is presented by AT&T. Geico. Switch today and see all the ways you could save. Miller Lite, the only beer the Cowboys. It's Miller time. And by NFL Game Pass. You'll never miss a game again. Enjoy full and condensed game replays from Week 1 to the Super Bowl.
The Dallas Cowboys 2021 season comes to a close as the Cowboys are upended at AT&T Stadium by the San Francisco 49ers in the wild card round of the 2021 NFL playoffs. And we welcome you to AT&T Stadium and Cowboys Game Night here from the AT&T East Plaza at the stadium following the loss alongside six-time Pro Bowler, three-time Super Bowl champ, Nate Newton. I'm Kyle Youmans. And Nate, what else can we talk about in this game but really missed opportunities for the Dallas Cowboys? It was emphatic, it was an atmosphere, electric all the way from the beginning, and they had the crowd on their side late as they made a push to come back from an early deficit, but ultimately fell just short.
You know, even up to the last play, the quarterback sneak that, you know, Coach McCarthy said he worked on, but it didn't seem like it was, you know, it was, you know what, to be honest with you, it was just a lot of missed opportunities. We didn't take advantage of. We didn't do what we needed to do. We was bad on third down. I think we was 5 out of 14, and then we had 14 penalties for 89 yards. That's not a team that's ready for the playoffs. That's not a team that's matured yet.
Yeah, the most penalized team in the NFL has that come back to bite them in their first round of the NFL playoffs, and that, of course, being the Dallas Cowboys. Let's hear from Cowboys head coach Mike McCarthy following the 6-point loss in the end to the 2021 season.
All right, questions, please. David.
Yeah, Mike, well, obviously hit the end of the game, but was this just a case of early falling behind and then with the time of possession just a little too difficult to overcome over the course of the game?
Well, I mean, clearly, it wasn't the start of the game that we would have liked. You know, I thought that, you know, offensively we really didn't get into a rhythm. You know, I thought the penalties were kind of productive. You know, as far as field position on the kickoff return, and then, you know, a couple big plays came back. I thought our guys by halftime we were settled into the game, and give San Francisco credit. You know, they overcame some things, you know, during the course of the game. But yeah, I mean, it's you know, we felt strongly this game was going to come down to key situations at the end. You know, it's disappointing. We, you know, didn't get a shot there at the end of the game. But yeah, we were herky-jerky. But I can't, you know, say enough how proud I am of our guys to continue to battle, and there was really no blink on the sidelines. I think clearly everybody, you know, these last two plays, church clock, all those scenarios, we put a tremendous amount of time into it. So we had a lot of confidence, you know, trying to set up that last play. But yes, I mean, our execution wasn't what we would have liked it to have been, clearly. But I think you have to give the other team some credit.
Go back over that last play and what happened. Clearly, the time ran out, but I don't know if you thought that they should have reset it or what happened on the last play.
Have never seen that come down, you know, the way it came down, you know, as far as the collision between the umpire and the quarterback. You know, we were trying to get inside the 30-yard line to set up the last play. The mechanics were intact. I felt from our end of it, communication that I was given on the sideline, that they were reviewing it. They were going to put, you know, time back on the clock, and the next thing I know that they're running off the field. So that's all. That's the only facts I have for you.
Go to New York to review, or
that's the only thing I got for you. You know.
You were told that. You were told they were going to put time.
Yeah, he thought he was going to put. They were going to put time back on the clock.
About that final play and how things ended up for the Dallas Cowboys, falling by 6, 23-17, as we take a look at some of the final stats overall. 340 yards total from San Francisco, the majority of that coming in the first half. And then on the Dallas Cowboys side of things, it really starts with the run game. Just 77 yards, 16 combined carries for both Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard. They just didn't have that balanced attack.
No, they did, man. It was a struggle, man, and we just couldn't keep up. It was lost in the first half, man, and we just didn't do enough in the second half to win the game.
didn't do enough to win the game. And you also talk about time of possession early on. You fall behind 13-0. You found a little bit of a rhythm, and all of a sudden it went away again. Defense tried late, couple late turnovers to try and give the Cowboys an opportunity to get right back in it, and they were unable to convert. When we come back here with more Cowboys game night, Nate Newton and I will hear from Dak Prescott and what went wrong on the offensive side of the football right after this.
This segment is brought to you by the Texas Lottery. The Dallas Cowboys scratch ticket from the Texas Lottery is your ticket for a chance to win up to $100,000. Get your Dallas Cowboys scratch ticket today. Must be 18 or older to purchase a ticket. Play responsibly.
The Dallas Cowboys really losing the battle in the trenches against the San Francisco 49ers in this one, as Dak Prescott was pressured time after time from that San Francisco front seven. He finished 23 of 43 with 254 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. Here's his thoughts following the loss.
Dak, can you just go ahead and start by that final play after your scramble and everything that happened after that?
Made the call knowing that we're in a get some yards and get down and got to clock it, knowing that situation, something we've practiced over and over again. Ran, went, got some yards, went down. As I was getting behind Tyler, saw 4 seconds left. Thought it was time, obviously, to make sure everybody was set, and then honestly just got hit from behind. And then still there, when I gathered myself, saw 2 seconds and thought I could get the snap and get it down before time expired, and unsure exactly what happened other than that.
What was going through your mind when you're getting the ball back? You got a few minutes on the clock, you got 3 timeouts. Just what are you thinking at that point?
Yeah, we got a chance. That's all I can ask for, is to have the ball be down by 6, have a chance to go win the game. And defense did a great job of giving us that opportunity, but just not being able to capitalize. Thought the last fourth down there, close, almost a big play, but didn't go in our way.
Those situations are always chaotic at the end. But did you feel you guys did everything you could do as a unit to give yourself that one last shot to go into the end zone?
Yeah, I did. As I said, it's something that we've practiced over and over again. Obviously, as I ran, went down, I think their guy actually did a great job of jumping on me. Kind of late, I guess you could say there, but that's what they're taught, right? Laying on me. I think that may have cost us an extra 2 seconds or so, but once I got up, as I said, as I'm getting behind Tyler to clock the ball, I saw 4 seconds, and then as I got hit, as I said, I tried to gather myself back and still thought I had time to get it down, and didn't go that way.
Were you shooting for a certain yard marker that you rush for too many yards that you stop sooner, or do you even think about that?
In hindsight, yeah, I can say I could have went down sooner if I'd have known all of that was going to play out that way, but I also think if I don't get hit from behind, it's a clean, and we're clocking the ball with at minimum a second, if not more, if not 2 or 3 on the clock. And as I said, their guy did a good job too of diving on me right there at the end, of giving them an extra 2 seconds, I guess, to run off. But yeah, if we're looking at it now, I could say I could have went down 5 yards earlier, but thought I'd got us in position and thought I had time left to clock the ball, as I said, and something that we've practiced over and over, and was going to be able to get into a last play scenario.
Dak Prescott talking in detail about what happened on the final play of this game against the San Francisco 49ers as we take a look at some of the offensive stats. Nate Newton and I, we haven't really talked about the details. We talked about it generally, the opportunity the Cowboys had late. They were in enemy territory in San Francisco on their side of the field. They had at least enough time to take 1, maybe 2 shots to the end zone. Instead, it was a quarterback draw, a scramble up the middle, and clock ran down before they were able to go up and spike the football. What did you think about the final play calls and what happened on that final drive?
You go through this in practice. I don't want to be so hard on Coach McCarthy and Dak and Kellum and all those guys. You go through these things in practice, and they work perfectly. But when you play with live bullets, you know what I'm saying? They don't always go where you direct them, and they don't always happen the way you want it to happen. So I can see where they were coming from, and, we'll always second guess that. You just missed out this time.
It did miss out, and it was one of those mojo moments that we had talked about all the way from the beginning of the year, all the way at training camp in Oxnard, and this one did not go in favor of the Cowboys. Ran out of time before they were able to get up to the line of scrimmage and spike the football. There you heard the explanation from Dak Prescott himself. When we come back, we hear about the defensive side of the football and a wrap to the rookie season for linebacker Micah Parsons.
This segment was brought to you by the Texas Lottery. The Dallas Cowboys scratch ticket from the Texas Lottery is your ticket for a chance to win up to $100,000. Get your Dallas Cowboys scratch ticket today. Must be 18 or older to purchase a ticket. Play responsibly. This segment is brought to you by Geico. Switch today and see all the ways you could save.
What a rookie season it was for Micah Parsons, becoming the first rookie in Cowboys history to become a first-team All-Pro selection. Here's his thoughts, though, following the wild card loss to the San Francisco 49ers.
Like I know from earlier in the week, you were expecting a different outcome. Was it just them getting ahead early, and it was kind of hard to get back and get into the rhythm you need to come back?
I mean, you could say that, but, you know, I think it just came down to, you know, obviously we were flagged a whole bunch. To say they got ahead, I think we've come back from worse, but, you know, the penalties are just killing us down the stretch. And, you know, it's something that, you know, we got to get it fixed, you know what I mean? So it's tough.
Micah, how would you describe the emotions in the locker room and your emotions right now after your first playoff game?
You know, it's really tough because, you know, I'm used to college and, you know, seeing the seniors go and, you know, you come back. But, you know, you got a bunch of guys on like free agents soon. And, you know, I look at, like, guys like Layton, who I call, like, a big brother now. And, you know, I never know if I'm going to play with him again. And, you know, I didn't come in today thinking this would be my last game with him. And same like JK, so, you know, it's tough. And, you know, for myself, I'm emotional because I grew a bond with these guys. And, you know, if I see him again, I hope we could play together. But, I mean, it's real emotional there, man. I think nobody wanted this outcome, and everybody really played to win. We just got to clean things up for next year.
What was tough about their run game early?
I don't think it was. I think, you know, you just come out and, you know, the first 15 is always hard. You never know what type of adjustments they're going to make in the run game and things like that. But I think once we made those adjustments, I mean, we held it solid. I mean, we let that one run slip off the turnover, but, I mean, after those adjustments we made, I don't think the run was that effective.
Like you mentioned,
Micah Parsons and the defense certainly had their struggles in this ball game, especially early on, but they did turn things around toward the second half. We mentioned the late game scenario in the last segment, and really the only reason they had a late game scenario was because of a couple stops and the turnover on the interception to Anthony Brown in the fourth quarter, allowing the Cowboys to get back within a single possession. Back here from AT&T Stadium on Cowboys game night, alongside Nate Newton, I'm Kyle Youmans. And Nate, when you look at Micah Parsons and what he could bring to this defense for years to come, what is the biggest thing he needs to see improvement upon?
He's a complete package already. You know, he's fast, he's big, he's thoughtful, he's thankful, he sees plays, but they need to see him just a little bit quicker. So when you play these tricky guys like the 49ers, who like to pull a lot of guys and give fake motion and stuff like that, he needs to just read a little bit quicker, and that'll come with experience.
And it will be, and you'll be able to kind of find that rhythm a little bit more as his career goes along, and that's an exciting thing for Cowboys Nation to really keep an eye on. When we come back, we hear from Amari Cooper and how the Cowboys offense really dropped the ball on multiple occasions.
By Geico. Switch today and see all the ways you could save.
It took until late in the fourth quarter for the Cowboys offense to finally find a rhythm on that side of the football. There was a first half touchdown to Amari Cooper that cut the lead to 6, but that was it for the Cowboys in the first half as they were barely up over the century mark. Here's Amari Cooper following the wild card loss.
Amari, what was it scene like in the locker room? How emotional was it after a game like this?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you know, it didn't end how we wanted it to end, so you know, guys were very dissatisfied. So.
How hard was that start looked like Coach McCarthy said you guys were a little jittery at the start of the game. Did you feel like you guys were a little jittery?
I mean, listen, we didn't start how we wanted to start, so you can use whatever adjective you want. You know what I mean? It's just we need to start better than that in such an important game like this was if we want to win.
Mari, is there anything you can put your finger on why the offense sort of lost its consistent swagger the last half of the season after the fast start of the season?
No, I can't.
Did it feel that way, though? I mean, inside it, did it feel like you guys were not doing what you were doing early in the season?
Yeah, it did. I think the bar was just set so high based off of what we did. We just wasn't consistent enough to keep doing it. So.
Well, Mari, weeks ago you said you feel like something special was going to happen. When obviously it ends in disappointing fashion, do you have to take it all in from the standpoint of you don't know when you're going to get that feeling again?
I don't know. I really don't know what the future holds. You know, I can't predict that. But when I said what I said, I did feel that way. And listen, we have a special team. Well, we had a special team. You know, hopefully we could get a lot of the same guys back. You know, the coaching staff and, you know, the guys who pick the talent within the organization, they've done a great job. And, you know, hopefully they can continue to do a great job and we can build on what we had.
There's Amari Cooper following the 23-17 loss to the San Francisco 49ers. When we come back, we put this one in the rearview mirror and take a look at what the Cowboys offseason could look like when we wrap things up on Cowboys Game Night.
Dallas Cowboys Game Night was presented by AT&T, Reliant, and NRG Company, and by NFL Game Pass. You'll never miss a game again. Enjoy full and condensed game replays from Week 1 to the Super Bowl.
AT&T Stadium was rocking in the wild card round, but it was not enough to propel the Cowboys to a victory. They fall to the San Francisco 49ers 23-17, and their 2021 season has come to a close. Welcome back to Cowboys Game Night, the final segment of an entire season worth of shows, and we've got plenty of people to thank here in a couple moments. But first, 12-5 NFC East champions. You fall in the wild card round. It's a disappointing end, as always. But what are your thoughts when you're going to look back on this season?
The guys played, what they did, you know, guys that grew up, you know, like a Micah Parsons or Diggs, guys like that, for DeMarcus Lawrence to come back and have an impact, for Gregory to go through what he's went through in life, to have an impact and to finish this season strong, stuff like that, the building blocks, man, that especially defense that you can have here.
What's the biggest area that needs to be improved heading into next season?
We have to have an offensive line that can play more consistently, and we have to have a tight end that can block and help set the edges so we can have a better run game. That's how we lost that game today. We couldn't stop the run, or we could not run the ball. And when you cannot do that, you cannot win playoff games.
Lots of big decisions on the way for the Cowboys coming up. Of course, the NFL draft. We'll try and address some of that. And then, of course, coaching changes probably on the way, whether good or bad. Teams picking coordinators from the Cowboys, Dan Quinn and company, after the season they had on the defensive side of the football. But we want to thank our team here on Cowboys Game Night. Caden Gates, Matt Kent, Kevin, Jody, Scott, Jasmine, Bianca, and our entire DallasCowboys.com crew who did a fantastic job all season long, day in, day out, week in, week out, providing you content on DallasCowboys.com. And Nate Newton, as always, it's a pleasure working with you. Can't wait to work with you again next season. The Cowboys fall at AT&T Stadium in the wild card round 23-17. We'll see you next season.